Okay, so the Los Angeles Lakers tonight defeated the Houston Rockets, 119-96. It was a blowout. The game wasn't close for most of it, and the series is over in 5 games. Many people thought it would go longer. Geoffrey Aji said 7 games. I thought it was an enticing matchup at the very least, and I thought that the Rockets could put up a better fight. But the Lakers seemed to move on with ease after that first game. Initial reactions. What is the outlook for Los Angeles and Houston? Geoffrey Aji, you go first.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed with the Rockets. I called them an underrated team. And I'll say this, I was wrong. They're not an underrated team. They're perfectly rated. Kevin was right. And the outlook for the Rockets aren't looking good whatsoever. It seems more and more like Harden isn't, a playoff producer. He's more of a regular season player. And Mike D'Antoni might not be the coach for the Rockets anymore. So I'm not sure what's going to happen to the Rockets. And Russell Westbrook, he hasn't been playing good whatsoever. But we'll see. I mean, they might do something. They might win a lot of games next year. You never know.
Yeah, and I think the repeated playoff losses, the losses in series, and the high expectations for the Rockets over the years have contributed a little bit to people saying this theory of small ball, this theory of shooting a bunch of threes, not taking mid-range shots, this entire thing that the Rockets organization is built upon, people are going to be saying that doesn't work. And there's going to be questions about James Harden, about Mike D'Antoni, about even Daryl Morey possibly in the front office. So, Jonathan Bulnes, what do you think about the Houston Rockets and the Los Angeles Lakers?
Well, so I mean, Lakers are a great team. I didn't expect this to end so quick. The Rockets they've just proved that, they're a failure. I mean, every year they make it. They're a very good regular season team, like Geoffrey said. They just never, show up in the playoffs. The Lakers, they're going to the NBA Finals, man. I mean, this is Kobe's year too. So I would love it for them to make it to the finals. But I do have a message for James Harden and Russell Westbrook. If you want to win, okay, you need to come to Miami. All right, because in Miami, we can win. We can show you that small ball works. If you want to win the championship, come to Miami. We'll wait for you there.
That's a very compelling message. I don't know that they'll actually come, but you guys have definitely shown how small ball works in your endeavors in the East. Kevin, your reaction to the Lakers beating the Rockets in 5 games?
First of all, I don't think that the Miami Heat even want Russell Westbrook. He's probably going to make your team worse. Second of all, I think it's about time, that the NBA world acknowledges the Houston Rockets for what they are. They're not contenders. They're pretenders. Year in, year out. It's time for Mike D'Antoni to go. His philosophy, we've seen it throughout the playoffs for the past few years. It just isn't working. James Harden is proving to be a playoff bust. They need an impact player. They need some new coaching, some new vision with their team, because their philosophy of small ball was not sustainable. I mean, it was, you could see that from a mile away. Yeah, it's kind of effective sometimes here and there, but you could see it's not sustainable at all. And so when you get Russell Westbrook in and he's playing the way that he is, as in West bricking, then you know that your team is not built for success and for a championship run. And when Geoffrey Aji tells me day in, day out that the Rockets are underrated, they can potentially upset the Los Angeles Lakers, that not only shows you his blinded vision of what the Houston Rockets are, but also his terrible, terrible, terrible expectations, and very low expectations, might I say, that he has for LeBron James. You do not doubt playoff Bron. You do not doubt playoff Bron. He lost a game 1 to the Portland Trail Blazers. Everyone wrote him off. And you know what he did? Destroyed him. He lost game 1 to the Rockets, and everyone wrote him off, including you. You know what he did? He destroyed them. So you do not count on playoff Bron. It's normal for a playoff Bron and other good teams to lose game 1s. We saw the Toronto Raptors last year. They lost game 1, and they won the championship. So do not doubt playoff Bron. I saw you shaking your head when Jonny said the Lakers were probably going to make the NBA Finals. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. You got to admit it's going to be close. And the Houston Rockets, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, honestly, I'll even look to trade James Harden. I think they need a completely new rebranding of their team. Send them to Miami, something.
Yes, yes.
But their team needs some type of restructuring and rebuilding. That's what I think, because they're not built for success.
Okay, I would, I guess, bring a little bit back reality there with trading James Harden. That's a little extreme for me, at least. I think James Harden is at least a proven regular season player. He needs to show up in the postseason. That's the bottom line. He is a choke artist now, and it's happened years in a row, multiple years in a row, especially with Golden State when they had those chances. The KD goes out, so they don't capitalize. And then 99-92 was game 7 of the Warriors dynasty a few years back. So Rockets, disappointing. We had our expectations. And another thing I want to bring up is how much of this was just due to the Lakers being so good? How much of it was the Lakers just being a great matchup against the Rockets, with AD really destroying everything in the paint, and then LeBron also physically asserting himself? Geoffrey.
Yeah, the Lakers have looked amazing so far. I still had them making it to the Western Conference Finals, but I don't think they're a better team than the Clippers because, LeBron and AD, they're way better than Kawhi and Paul George, but the Clippers have a better head coach, they have better depth, they have better starting lineup, and because of this, I don't think if the Lakers and the Clippers make it to the Western Conference Finals, it's not going to be a.
This is what Geoffrey does.
It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a close game, but I don't see the Lakers winning.
Geoffrey, Suraj asked you about the Lakers, and you automatically make the conversation about the Clippers because LeBron James lives in your head rent-free, and you would do anything to try to discount him and his team. I'm going to address the question that Suraj actually asked, and actually, I do think that we should credit the Lakers for being actually really, really good. But also, you got to note that before this matchup, Geoffrey and so many other analysts at our competitors are saying that the Houston Rockets were a good matchup for the Los Angeles Lakers. They pointed to their games in the regular season where the Houston Rockets small ball worked perfectly against the Los Angeles Lakers, where Anthony Davis couldn't really assert himself. But what happened? The exact opposite happened. And this is why I don't think that we should always look to regular season games and equate that to playoff success or parallels. Everyone says Miami Heat looked bad against Boston Celtics regular season. Who knows if that's going to equate to the playoffs? Everything is different in the playoffs. Everyone's mentality is different. Coaching schemes are different. Rotations are different. You start seeing star players not even being subbed down the fourth quarter. Everything's different.
Yeah, and Jonny, you watched LeBron. You've been a Heat fan since the beginning. You used to get those LeBron shoes back in middle school because he was on the Miami Heat. You come every day, and just with that Miami Heat enthusiasm, what can you say about LeBron James? And I'll kind of give you the last word on the outlook for the Western Conference.
I mean, we all know LeBron is the greatest player of all time. I really respect him for what he did for my team. Got us 2 championships with the help of Dwayne Wade, of course. I really see this Lakers team going to the NBA Finals. Like I said, because it's Kobe's year as well. But LeBron is somebody that people think is overrated, but he really shows up when he needs to show up. People counted him out in game 1, like I think it was Kevin said, against Portland, and even against Houston. But he has that Mamba mentality as well. So with that being said, I have the Lakers in the NBA Finals, and I don't think the debate should be still here about LeBron and MJ. I mean, we've clearly seen what LeBron can do.
All right, first of all, I would like to address Kevin. Kevin's right. I'm discrediting LeBron again, and I'll say this: LeBron has looked amazing. Playoff LeBron has showed up, except for game 1. He's been passive, but it looks like he's fueling our teams in game 1, and then he's been extremely aggressive in all of the games, and he's putting up great numbers. And as for Jonny, LeBron is one of the greatest player of all time. Michael Jordan is. There's no question about it.
Fake news. That's what I call it. Fake news.
Nope. There's no doubt in my mind that Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time, and it's not even close.
Also, a debate that's been going on is whether Miami LeBron has been the best LeBron.
Oh,
and Miami LeBron was the best LeBron.
Definitely.
Yeah? Okay.
Definitely.
I'm glad we can all agree to that. Okay.
I mean, I guess the 3-1 coming back LeBron was like the best story, but the best LeBron, that's like the best play style, the better defender, the better offensive player was the Miami LeBron.
That was his prime. He was the most dominant LeBron. I agree with you there.